Hello and welcome to Golden Geography. Today we're going to be thinking about changing spaces, making places, which is part of the OCR Geography A-Level specification. We're going to be thinking about key question 4, which is who are the players that are influencing economic change in places? And this is focused around a case study, so this is just going to look at the theory behind that. Please do make sure that you look at the case study video as well. So first of all, we need to think a little bit about the players who are involved in driving economic change. Economic change is the development of economic activity to make it generate a greater income for that area. It could mean changing the type of economic activity significantly. If that's the case, then we're talking about structural economic change. And that might be from the economic activity being based on primary industries like forestry or fishing or mining through to tertiary activities such as service industries. So we need to think about who would be involved. Who are those players? Those are groups or organisations, sometimes individuals, that get behind the development of a place and try to develop its economy or change its economy. This can include public players such as the government, local or central government. It can also include private players such as TNCs or businesses, but also community groups like the Women's Institute, local churches or schools that have an interest in that local activity and local area. So the first thing you need to do is think a little bit about that place before it went through that economic change. What were the economics of the area? What was the focus of the economic activity? And what did that mean for the people who lived there and their social activities? Who did live there? What were the demographics of those in terms of ethnicity or age? Was there a specific predominance? Was it lots of old women who liked to go and have cafe and knitting sessions? What about the cultural events of the place? How did that tie into the demographics? And then finally, the environment. What was the environment like? Was there evidence of pollution or not? Then you need to think a little bit about the economic change that took place. Who was involved, what players were involved, and how did they drive that change? On the whole, you want to create positive economic change. That means there's more economic activity, more money being generated in that area. However, sometimes economic change can have negative effects. You can see often a decline in the old industries as new ones take over, and that can cause problems, particularly social problems for the people who used to live and work in that area, as they might get pushed out as the economic activity and finances of that zone change. Then finally, you want to think about what has changed. After the change has happened, what has that meant for the economics, for the jobs that take place in that location? Do you have new jobs with new skill sets? Are you employing new people? What about the social elements that tie into that? If you've got lots of offices that have opened, do you now have lots of bars and cafes that are serving those offices? Or if you've got lots of manufacturing areas, do you have social factors tying into that? And what about the demographics? If you used to have lots of old women and now you've got these new offices, do you now have lots of young people in their 20s? Have your demographics changed because of your economic shifts? And what about the culture? Do you have new cultural events? Have you lost some old cultural events? Have they changed? And finally, the environment. This is the one that's most likely to suffer. If you have gone through particularly an industrialization process where you've increased your manufacturing, you may find the environment suffers, and as a consequence of that change, you may end up with increased pollution. On the other hand, you might find the environment improves. You might find that old areas of manufacturing have closed and now you've got offices and the area is much nicer. So keep a lookout for those 4 key features. What were they like before the economic change? What was the economic change? Who was involved in that? What were they like after? So pause the video, have a look at these 3 key bullet points. Green if you know it, amber if you're not sure, red if you need to go back and have a look again. Thanks for listening.